Hi guys, just doing an impromptu live. I'm out assessing damage still. It's Wednesday at around 10:21 on the 28th. We're still in the process of just like cleaning up debris, and we keep finding more and more and more damage. Like I'm in Togo's section right now, and all of the plastic roofing, like that's not supposed to be there. These holes also not supposed to be there. And we're having another windstorm today, so while we can clean, we're not going to be rebuilding anything until the wind dies down a little bit. And I've been looking through records online trying to figure out if there's any history of tornadoes in the area, and there's barely any mention of anything like that. There's only two on record, one in 2016 and one in 2019. And then, of course, we know we had one here at the shelter last year. But it always appears to be May and June, and it's just not well recorded. So I think we're just going to anticipate May and June being tornado season now in this area. I'm going to stay under here in the shaded area while I'm doing the live because it's just way too hot out there. And I'm hydrating and I'm wearing sunblock, but just it's way too hot. And Togo's happy for the attention and a little extra love. Hi, bud. I'll flip you around where you can see his section. So he shares this section with a few other dogs. You know, we put him in the back, and then the other dogs come in here in the evenings, and look what they've done to their settee. They really don't last long in here. And then we, wrap pallets, and this is actually one of the dog beds that you guys have donated in the past. And then when the top got destroyed, we put wood on top, and then we cover it with the fake grass. Here's one of the Star Plus dog houses that were bought off the wish list. Believe it or not, Togo can actually fit in that little dog house. I know it's hard to believe. Hi, handsome. Oh, are you just cooking in here? We had a long discussion about should we be doing anything with his hair, because it's so darn hot in here. But we're trying not to destroy his coat. But, I mean, we've brushed him out many, many times, and he is just an absolute fluff monster. Ugh, you're just too cute. You're just too cute, sir. Let's look at the rest of your section, bud. He's got a double bed in here in his cabin, and a little pallet bed, and he's got an area for his bathroom breaks. Let's see if the guys have cleaned over here today. Oh, they have. Here's his other bathroom area with his pool, his toys. We do our best to make things as comfortable as possible here. Let's flip you around where you can see my face again here, because everybody loves that. So yeah, everybody's just kind of exhausted right now. We put everything we had this week into cleaning up all the debris from the storm and just making sure that the area was safe for the dogs. And then, of course, every time we pull into the shelter right now, it's just so damn depressing. Like I pull in and hardly any of the pools are in use right now. I think there was 3 dogs in all 10 pools this morning, because it's so hot. And previously there would be 15, 20 dogs under each shade in every pool. And I just shudder to think what they're doing now for shade, and where they've all gone. Some of them are in the cabins or, kind of hang around. One second. Sorry, I've got dogs freaking out. Hey guys, is someone out front? Normally I would just check the cameras, so I'm hearing the dogs flip out. Can you check out front to see if someone's out here? Thank you. What was I saying? Hi, Togo. He's just so eager to please and get attention. We're hoping to have him prepped and ready to go to his new home in the next couple of months. It sucks that he's having to spend another summer here in this heat, but it is what it is. But his new home that he's going to, I believe that they have lots of beach trips planned and hiking and whatnot, so we just got to keep him getting a heat injury this summer, and keep him comfortable while we wait to send him to his new home. But it's sounding like it's kind of a dream home for him. Maybe they want to adopt me too. Yes, I hear you. We've got small gaps in the fencing over here where the dogs from 2 different sections can kind of just mouth off at each other. This spot behind me is Medusa and Shusha, so two of the disabled dogs that live up front. They've actually got quite a nice area. Hi, Happy Feet. Say hi to the people. And Bora, and their settee over there. Like I said, we try to make their sections as nice as we can, and as much like a home as they can be. Even in the shade here, like it's got to be 35, 36 degrees in the shade, which is quite hot for dogs. And then they're of course wearing a fur coat on top of everything else. But if you guys have any questions about our storm response or what we're doing, where we're at, please let me know. We have a construction company coming out tomorrow to consult with us. No idea if they're going to be able to donate any help or any labor, but we're just going to kind of pick their brain on what we can do. We're going to shorten the shade areas by about half because we're hoping that that'll help. And then we're thinking of, after we bury the metal post, that we'll put concrete blocks around them and kind of build like a pillar around at least 4 of the legs, and see if that helps. But we had, a 1.5 ton cabin thrown 50 meters and completely decimated. So I don't know if there's anything we can build that will hold up to tornadoes. And there's no warning system here. There's no proper reporting going on. Oh, you can hear the plastic roofing in the background is just getting rolled and unrolled across here. Also with these noises and stuff, the dogs tend to react kind of poorly to it, and we're having the dogs kind of gob off and fight with each other because they're stressed out from all of the chaos and the weird weather. We've really got our hands full out here right now, guys. I feel like I jinxed us a little bit because I was telling Luis not that long ago that I was just so grateful that we were coming into the summer with all the shade we needed, the pools we needed to not be in like panic mode all summer long. And then, within a week, all that shading that I was so proud of got ripped to shreds. And it's not like it's just the fabric that got torn and we can, put new fabric on, because that's a relatively easy fix. I mean, it's money that we don't want to spend, but I could have handled that pretty easily. So we did, I believe we already posted an update, but we did meet the match fund, so we were able to raise the $20,000 to get that match, but that money of course is already earmarked. We had to get a vehicle because we're in such a remote area that we had no way to get in for x-rays, and when we have people living on site, they had no way to go grocery shopping, and there's nothing within walking distance. So we did get ourselves a little 3-cylinder car. I'll get some video of that later. That was a whole process. We've never bought a vehicle here before. Like, I've never bought one. The shelter sure as heck has never bought anything, made any big purchases. And there is it's a pretty serious process to getting it registered. But we've got the new plates on it, and it's parked out underneath the one of the little garage areas. So it's now available for the vets to use to move dogs and whatnot. And then, of course, the rest of the money raised will be used for fixing or trying to fix all of the damage from the storm, paying for medications. I was doing the budget recently, and I was like, okay, I think I got it all kind of under control, and I've got an idea where everything's going to go. And then the vets walk in, and they're like, oh, we need another 300,000 Iraqi dinar worth of vaccines. It's like, okay, well, I guess we'll just figure it out. Like, vaccines are not something I can really hold off on or skimp on. So it's just a lot of moving parts out here, and normally I kind of know how many vaccines we're going to need in any given month, but obviously with Shakaylee and Dr. Teresa here as well, we've been out vaccinating many more dogs than we normally do. So that's increasing our cost, which, I mean, it's good that we're doing more spay and neuter and that we're doing more vaccines, but it just adds burden onto us to try and figure out how the hell we pay for it. And it's not one vaccine, because each vaccine individually is like $3.50, which is not a huge deal, but when you're doing cabin here, it's a bit cooler. I'm actually kind of feeling a little lightheaded, even in the shade out here. It's very hot. Don't be surprised if my phone turns off because of the temperature. Like, I can feel it's burning my hand right now. So yeah, anyway, all of that, I mean, we're really excited that we might fight. Hey guys, sorry about that. I lost my internet and my phone's overheating, so I've moved back over to the office and get you set up on one of the tripods that you donated. The other ones haven't arrived yet, but this is the one I usually hang on to for my use in here. One second. It makes for less exciting live when we're inside, but I don't want it to be so exciting that one of you guys watches me drop dead from heat stroke outside. I want to limit our excitement. What else? Does anybody have any questions or anything? Luis, we are so sorry the feed keeps going off. The internet at the shelter has been nothing short of shite for weeks. That's true. So whenever we come into this real hot weather, the towers and stuff, we've actually seen like the metal melting before. Not sure what they're building it out of, but it doesn't always hold up here in the summer. Also, the cables get overheated, and so we end up with a bunch of dead spots for our internet. Right. Dogs are going through like bursts of barking a lot outside today because whenever there's wind and whatnot, they just, like a plastic bag will go skittering across, and then all the dogs will lose their mind. I see we've got a few people watching. Thanks for joining us. I know it's an odd time of day, and it was impromptu, like it gave no warning that we'd be going live. I just figured it was a little bit easier for me to talk to you guys this way than trying to record a bunch of small clips talking about the damage and the match fund and everything else. So yeah, we had the brush-a-thon, which I have no idea what the total was for that. I know that we brushed, well, Warpaws, the staff, and Shakaylee and Dr. Teresa brushed 60 dogs, which is wild. Like, I thought maybe they'd get 20 done because it was so hot that day. But because that kind of got, like, I don't know, mixed in with the storm damage stuff and the fundraisers, I'm not sure how much we actually raised, but I think it was a decent amount. It was certainly a nice little fundraiser, and the dogs really enjoyed it. So even if we didn't raise any money, like 60 dogs got checked over and got brushed. All of the donations towards the storm repairs, we did count that towards the recent match funds. I think we got another 500-pound match fund last night, if I remember correctly. I wake up and I check the social media first thing because there's just not enough hours in the day for me and Luis and everybody else to have constant meetings. So sometimes we're finding things out at the same time you guys are. Hi Francis, hi Nick. I see you've got quite a few of our regulars joining us. It's nice to see you guys. It's early for a live. Hi Arslan. So yeah, the dogs are just chilling in here in the office. I turned on the AC first thing when I got here because it was cooking hot in here. And I've got my normal crew that's just waiting right at the door to get in there when they see me. They can hear my car coming, my rental car, and they're all over it. They know Mom's here to let them into the AC. Today, Dr. Ollie and I will be going over all of the current cases. Luis, we did get another match fund last night. Once again, our amazing Warpaws family smashed it in just a few hours. Okay, so awesome. We got a match fund and it was met. And when we do have these match funds, we include all donations from all platforms towards the match fund. We don't just try to do it on Facebook or anything like that. Because we want to be successful with every match fund, and of course we need the donations, but we don't want to make it seem worse than it is just to get you guys to donate. Hi Faye, I see a few people are joining us. It's actually a decent turnout for this early. What else did we have to talk about? My Giving Circle, I think we're at number 1 now. Are we going to hold that? Who knows? SCRT has a pretty good supporter base, and they've been crushing it the last few rounds. And of course, no matter who wins, the animals benefit. So we're not going to be sad if we come in second or third. As long as we're in the top 10, there's money to be had for us. And we're actually really grateful to My Giving Circle. Since we've been using their platform, we've done pretty well, and we've gotten a lot of extra funds that we wouldn't have seen otherwise. So yeah, if you haven't voted this week, make sure to vote. One time in a week you can vote on My Giving Circle. That's free to do. I usually opt out of the emails because I already received thousands of emails. So you can opt out of that, so it's not a spammy type event, and it takes like 10 seconds to vote. I am guilty of forgetting until I actually see our posts. So I probably have to vote this week as well. What day is it? Wednesday? Yeah, I'll probably do it this weekend. I like to get in the habits of doing it on the weekends. That way, if there's ever a double vote weekend, I sneak in there. What else has been going on? Just brutally hot out here, so we're kind of, it's slow going for the cleanup. We had a group of volunteers out that helped to clean up the debris. They brought out their trucks and helped us drag, bits of broken cabin out of the road, out of our driveway, so that we could get the water truck through and other stuff. Every time I watch the video of that storm, I'm so sad. Like I watch it rip roofing off of the inside of the shelter, and I'm thinking to myself how scared the dogs must have been. It was only like a 2-minute ordeal, but there was dogs being pulled into the weather event, like it on some of the camera stuff. If you rewatch it, like the dogs really got thrashed the other night, and they lost what little they do have outside was whisked away. Luis, we are really hoping we can get our new lottery to take off as well. We have 23 participants so far, and we'll be pushing it hard to grow it, as it will provide a steady income for the shelter. Sadly, only open to UK residents, though. So the lottery thing is recent, like it's a recent thing, and it took us quite a long time to sign up for it. Remember to gamble responsibly, guys. Think of that £10 a month as a donation to the shelter, and then if someone wins, that's great, but don't spend more than you can afford, please, and especially not on our account. But that is something we've been working on for a while, so that we could have a bit more steady income for the shelter, because every month is it's terrifying. Luis and I don't sleep well. We wake up worried, we go to sleep worried, and somehow we keep magicking, money up to pay the staff salaries and keep the lights on and keep the dogs fed. But that is getting harder and harder, and grants that we had been getting in the past are no longer available to us, or the grant makers have decided to open it up to charities that have not previously received grants from them, which is fantastic. But obviously that's money that we're not getting this year to continue our operations. I've been reaching out to local people, trying my best to get them to sponsor some stuff, even if it's just buying our trash bags, which is like, $50 a month. I'm looking at the whiteboard right now. We currently need sponsorship for our water trucks, which during the summer months are 1,250,000 Iraqi dinars, so like $800-900 a month just for water. That's not for drinking water for the staff, that's just drinking water for the dogs. Louisa shared the War Paws lottery link in the comments for anybody that wants that. We also need sponsorship for our animal food, which is our rice and lentils. So we always need dry dog food, canned dog food, and all that stuff. But the dog's basic diet comes from rice, which is not ideal, but it's the cheapest source of food that we can get for them. And each 50 kg bag, I think it's like $20, because we buy the cheapest stuff we can find, and the big tar bags. And we try to buy every 2 months, and it's 5 million Iraqi dinar, which is a little over $3,000. And we should be cooking double what we're cooking. We have dogs out at the end of the driveway that are skinny, and it's getting harder and harder to feed all of the dogs that are pushing in from the surrounding area. So the government's been doing a good job in trying to clean up all the livestock carcasses, which is something that we had brought up. We knew we'd be shooting ourselves in the foot a little bit by pushing it, but there's a ton of diseases that are running rampant, and we just can't keep pulling into 15-20 dead cows in the surrounding area, just bloated and stinking in the summer. So they're starting to clean that up, but that means there's less food in the surrounding area, so the dogs are pushing in on our location. Hi Tina, good morning, thanks for joining us. So some of the things we have to contend with here, there's like an illegal livestock market across the street where people go and sell their livestock. And over the last couple of years, there has been an increase in CCHF, Crimean Congo hemorrhagic fever, which is passed through ticks that are on sheep and cows and other stuff. So when they bring them over there, they're dropping all these ticks off, and then the ticks are getting on our dogs. And then if we end up getting bit, we could, potentially contract something that could kill one of our staff. So we've been having to do a lot of preventatives. There's also naturally occurring like anthrax, which I know that's a terrifying word. I don't even like saying or thinking about it, but it is naturally occurring in some of the animals, the livestock. And I think it was last year or the year before, they were warning people that the carcasses that were being dumped off to stay away from them because they could be infected. So obviously it's been a priority for us to make sure that people are dumping as few dead animals around us as possible so that we can protect ourselves and protect the dogs. I'm trying to think what else. Rabies is an issue out here. There's other tick-borne illnesses. Malaria that's with the mosquitoes, has been an issue. So we clean our ponds and stuff outside the livestock pools frequently, trying to keep the mosquitoes from popping up here, because none of us need malaria. Catherine Fowler, it must be overwhelming and exhausting having to constantly worry about making ends meet. It really is. And I can't speak for everybody, but for myself, I can feel it taking a toll on me. I'm just very, very tired all the time. The heat's not helping, but I feel like I'm wearing out a little bit. And of course we're going to keep going, because there's no one else to swoop in and take our place out here. Luis, dengue fever is the latest. Oh yeah, I forgot about dengue fever. Thanks for reminding me. And while some people survive dengue fever when they get it, the more times you're exposed to it, the more likely it is to be fatal. And they had a bunch of government hospital employees die from it this year. So yeah, we're doing our best to keep this area safe. I'm trying to think of what else we've had going on. There's so much. I keep taking notes and writing stuff down that I need to address in videos, and then I can't remember where I put my notes. I wake up tired. I'm tired throughout the day. Like I said, we've got somebody coming out tomorrow to consult with us on rebuilding the shades and stuff and trying to do it in a way that's not going to get destroyed. Catherine, terrifying to hear of all the diseases. It really is. And on a daily basis, it's kind of the lowest on our list of concerns, but it's always there in the back of your mind that you could be exposed to any of these things working out here. And we get our staff vaccinated for everything we can, like rabies and tetanus, stuff like that, but there's just so many things we can't be vaccinated for. And all of the foreign staff get tested every single year for communicable diseases. Like, we get blood tests and stuff done. I don't get them anymore yearly because I'm sponsored by my husband and not by the charity, so they don't require it anymore. But yeah, it's the local population's vaccinated, but it's still like we never know what's coming around. I feel like I'm drawing blanks. I'm really tired. Oh yeah, I'm a little hesitant to start rebuilding anything as much as we need it for the dogs. Like, we've got to get those shades back up. I'm worried about rebuilding them because we keep having these weather events. Like, this morning I went outside and my garbage can was starting to kind of come off the ground. I was like, okay, so it's gonna be a windy one. I see we got a few more people joining us. Hi Dave, thanks for watching. Luis, we really do feel bad about the constant begging we have to do, but please know that we appreciate every single one of you, and even if you cannot donate, please share our posts, sign up to free initiatives that help us to raise funds. So yeah, we do feel bad about constant begging. I was thinking about it this morning. I'm getting dressed for work, and I'm like, I really don't enjoy this aspect of the work. I don't like having to beg. For myself personally, like, I'll starve before I beg someone for help. But when it's for the dogs, we have to put our pride aside and figure it out. Like, if any one of us involved could fund this ourselves, we would, and we wouldn't talk about it or mention it. We would just get on with the work. But unfortunately, begging is a huge part of my life now. And if I'm not doing it daily and Luis isn't doing it daily, the dogs are not getting fed, they're not getting vaccinated, they're not getting dewormed, and they're just left out here by themselves. Dave, hi guys, followed you for a while, amazing work, you are doing so much love, thanks so much, and I appreciate you guys joining us on these lives and interacting with us, it does help. And I know we have a lot of supporters that have been silently following us for a long time, which is great, but we of course love when you guys interact with us. We want to know your names, we want to know who you are. We're one big family out here trying to fix this mess, and we really can't do it alone. We've not had a ton of support coming locally. I kind of thought we might after the tornado ripped through here, and we've had very little communication from local sources about it, reaching out to help. We did receive a pallet of dog food completely by surprise from Royal Canin Iraq and Dr. Zana. So that was a really nice surprise. I saw a truck pull up on the camera, and it's, like a big Mitsubishi truck, like the kind that carries dogs or materials. And our guys, bless their hearts, they're not always great with the radio, so they'll like press the button and then talk immediately, so it'll cut off the beginning of the conversation, and I heard dogs, and I was like, oh fuck. If there's someone with a truckload of dogs out here, like I might just lose the plot. I might go off the deep end here, and I walk outside and I see a pallet of dog food, and I was like, oh, what a nice surprise. Dog food versus dogs, like I'll take the dog food coming every time. Luis, we are really hoping we can reach our supporters in the U.S. as well. We became a 501c3 in October 24. So if you have friends and family in the U.S., please share our work with them. So yeah, we did talk about it a little bit, that we got registered in the States. I did it on one of my trips back while I was visiting my dad while he was in the hospital. And we've been kind of slow on the uptake to talk with our U.S. audience, because there's an 8 to 12 hour time difference depending on where you're at. And yeah, when I'm awake and working here, no one in the U.S. is really watching. So Dave, I run a UK charity called Dogs Life Rescue. We spent 2 years in Ukraine and also in Turkey when the earthquakes hit. Oh, so you know what this feels like, and you know what a grind it is to get the funding you need, and it's one natural disaster or war after another with very little rest in between. We haven't done anything in Turkey, but we did quite a bit of work in Ukraine. We don't physically have boots on the ground anywhere in Syria and don't maintain operations there, but we have taken dogs out of there and cats. Catherine, I can hear your exhaustion. Oriana, please try and take some time for yourself. I've signed up for the lottery and donated yesterday. I'm in the process of setting up an online dog and cat show to try and raise some funds for Warpaws. We appreciate it all, seriously. And as for the exhaustion, I am just... Luis and I were talking about it this morning, because I was like, well, should I go in for some blood tests or something? Because I just feel unnaturally tired. Like 4 o'clock hit yesterday and I was passed out on my living room floor with my dogs. I was so tired. But we were talking about maybe it's just that I've been flooded with cortisol for so long that now I'm just not coping very well. I've mentioned it a few times. I lost my dad last month, and that was a pretty prolonged, horrific fight that he had with cancer, with esophageal cancer, and I feel like that just kind of took it out of me. And then his last couple of months of life were just horrific and stressful, and the trips back home really took a lot out of me. And now that that's passed, it's still fresh and stressful, and that on top of the work stuff and the heartbreak that we have on a pretty regular basis here, I just feel like it's kind of taking it out of me. And I am trying to take time for myself. I'm trying to, protect my rest time when I'm off, but obviously as the country director of Warpaws, I need to step in when there's, emergencies, major emergencies. During the tornado aftermath stuff, like I woke up immediately to messages, like 26 messages about what was going on, and I reviewed all the footage, and I kind of went back and forth on, well, I'm like, do I go in, do I not go in, how bad is it? And then it it became pretty clear that it was way worse than the videos were showing. So, you know, I don't have much of a choice but to just deal with it. But yeah, I've got a couple of days coming off days coming up, and I'm gonna do my best to try and just do nothing but veg out for a few days. I just got done moving my house too. That was an unexpected thing that got thrown into the mix. So the past week I've been packing up and moving abruptly to a new neighborhood. The house where I rented before, they sold the house unexpectedly. So a lot of big life changes in a pretty short period of time. And I'm not complaining. I'm just, Dave, rescue burnout is a massive thing. Yeah, no, burnout is absolutely what I'm experiencing right now. You need to take at least an hour a day to do nothing. You are no good to the dogs if you're not at your best. Absolutely. And that's something we address with every single staff member here. Anyone that's ever been in animal rescue, you get compassion fatigue, you get just... Well, and also we don't trust, you know, when something good happens, we're like, okay, where's the next thing that's coming to get us? Yeah, I am no good to the dogs if I can't get my head up off the pillow in the morning. And of course, when I get home, I've got my own dogs to look after, and I feel so bad. I get home and I'm like, man, I've got nothing left in me for a walk, guys. Like, we're gonna have to settle with some snuggles, because can't do it. And then there's guilt too when you're in a caring profession of any kind, whether it be healthcare or animal rescue, veterinary care, any of that stuff. Like there's constant guilt, like you should be doing more at all times. And when you do have a bit of rest, your mind is still going through like, oh, you know, I could be doing this, or I could be doing that, or this animal, did I remember to write that down? Did this animal get checked? Are they getting enough food? Oh, I remember I saw a skinny dog 2 days ago outside of the shelter. Did I remember to tell anybody about that? So it's really difficult to balance, like have a work-life balance when you have a job like this. And anyone watching that's ever been in animal rescue or worked in healthcare, like, they know exactly what I'm talking about. And burnout's not an easy thing to come back from. For me, I will get rested up, and I will come back at it as strong as I can. Is that Nichervan? Hi. He says, how are Hader and Seamus? He says he misses us. So I've known Nichervan for going on 5-6 years. Hader's good. He's headed back to work soon. I'm doing all right. Seamus is good. His baby is getting huge. For those of you guys watching, Seamus is my little brother. He also lives here in Erbil. He moved out here a little over 2 years ago, and he used to work at the shelter with me. Now he's working for a private horse club. And yeah, he had a baby like 5 months ago, and the kid is just growing like a weed. He's the cutest thing. His name's AJ. And he's actually been calling me pretty much daily. He keeps wanting to get together and see me, and I'm like, nope, can't do it. But so hopefully in the next couple of days I'll be able to get up and see him and his wife and their baby and visit with them for a little bit. I do miss them. Erica, don't forget you are only one human. You can't do it all, and you are already doing so much. Thank you. Yeah, I know. I have these delusions of grandeur sometimes that I don't know if I'm a narcissist or what the problem is, but I'm like, oh, I could just be doing it all. I can do more. And I do kind of need a reality check every once in a while that I'm not capable of doing everything by myself. And I do appreciate our team here, but obviously all of us are pulling, double, triple, quadruple duty at all times. So yeah, I need to rest up a bit. I'm fully moved into my house now, so barring just random maintenance stuff, I should hopefully get to rest up on Friday and Saturday and just hang out with my dogs and mill around my house. And I'm going to do my best to shut my phone off, or kind of mute anything that's not urgent. And I have a really bad habit of being on our social media 7 days a week, 365 days a year, because it's just me and Luis pretty much that monitor it. The trustees sometimes help out with it, but everybody's got full-time jobs. And most of it falls to Luis. So if something gets missed, like if you guys message or someone needs, payment information or donation information or wants an update on a dog, we feel terrible when that stuff gets missed or when we don't give you guys updates or if we miss messages, especially when they're messages about a sick dog. Because that's how most local people communicate with us when there's a rescue issue. And we get so many messages that there's like an automated response, and then sometimes we just don't get around to it. But so I'm trying to get more organized so that I'm not on our social media 7 days a week, because I don't feel rested after I've had a full weekend of, commenting on our social media and sharing posts, and just then my mind starts going and I'm like, okay, where can we get funding from? Where have I not contacted? Luis just sent out a bunch of press releases, and we're constantly trying to get the media to pick something up so that we can get more eyes on our project. Nature Von, yeah, I remember you. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, you're one of the first people that Hader and I made friends with here. I definitely remember you. And unlike some of the other staff, I can read Kurdish and Arabic a bit, so I do pick up on the names pretty quick. What was I saying? Oh yeah, we're trying to get more organized to where we can have someone kind of monitoring the social media at all times, but without one or two of us having to pick it up at all times. Yeah. It's early yet. It's 11. I've got somebody coming in for an interview today. We're doing some restructuring with the kennel staff to move someone into a supervisory position, because we're working with all foreign staff, so we're working with people that speak multiple languages, and so I need one point of contact. So we're going to be moving Sabine into a supervisory position, and then I've got to interview someone to fill his spot. Nichiban, is there a problem in the shelter? Nichiban, there's always problems in the shelter. 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Nichiban, if you know anyone that wants to come out and donate or help out locally, we always need help. But no, there's no new problems today, just the run-of-the-mill stuff. And, still picking up the pieces from that storm on, I don't even know what day it was now. Was that Friday? I think it was Friday night was the storm. Saturday morning was the pickup, the cleanup. We did have a big group of local volunteers that came out, and our off-shift staff all came and volunteered their time. I didn't have it in the budget to pay them to come in for overtime, and they just all agreed to come in. And we wouldn't have gotten everything cleaned up without those volunteers. So really appreciate it. Faye Brewster, I worked in the care sector 14 years, and I had major burnout. It affected my work and my family life. You need to take care of yourself as well. We all know this is easier said than done. What you do is amazing. I always wanted to work with animals in a rescue capacity, but that's not how my life went. I don't regret working in care. Keep up the amazing work you do. Get some rest too. Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to do my best to get some rest. And people that get into care, like caring type careers, this isn't something I sought out, but people that do end up in healthcare or, any caring position, they usually do so because they love other people or love animals, or they're naturally inclined to be helpers. And that tends to predispose us to burnout. And I'm pretty aware of the mental health risks of this job. We keep an eye on each other. I'm doing everything I can to reasonably take care of myself, trying to eat healthy, trying to sleep as much as I can, drink water. Luis keeps a pretty close eye on me to try and make sure that I get as much support as I can get out here, and I try to do the same for everybody else. Yeah, and knowing that you guys are out there supporting us makes this bearable, because really if we didn't have you guys, like I don't think we would have made it this long. I know we wouldn't have made it this long. I think we have another Shabo shipment scheduled to come in today, so I'm excited about that. I think we've got, I can't remember exactly offhand, but I think we've got the other tripods coming in, some dog food, some medical supplies, and just, cleaning supplies, things like that. I got used up one of the radios that you guys donated today to get our new volunteer vet a radio of her own. So Dr. Zubaydah, she's just volunteering a couple days a week with us until she starts her new job. I think she's got a government job coming up. Wish we could poach her to be here full time, because it's really difficult to get people, especially local people, to come out to this area. Catherine, I'm signing off now as Luna and Cooper are waiting for their walk. Give Luna and Cooper my love, and we'll talk with you later. Thank you so much for watching, Catherine. What was I saying? I forget now. Oh, we're talking about the volunteer vet. Yeah. So all the stuff you guys donate and that you bought off of our wish list, like the radios and stuff, they go to good use. We use them every single day of the week. And it's nice. Right now we had a backup so that when we had a new person start, I could just pull a radio out. We had a little incident this morning. They didn't have a radio on them yet because they're just starting. And John outside, he's a real jerk. He's this brown dog that we have that has like little goofy feet and this little, cute little gap in his teeth, and he looks like he's wearing eyeliner, but he is shaitan. Like, he is a little demon. Like, sometimes he looks at me and I just know what's on his mind. He's a sneaky nipper. Like, he likes to come up behind you and get you right below the knee. And he's one of the only dogs we have anywhere at the shelter that does this. And he's been here for 5 years. Like, this is, most of us that have been around a while know. Like, my husband's taken a nip off of him. He's fully vaccinated. He's healthy. We have no idea why he's like this. But no warning, no nothing. He'll just come up behind you and, like, in slow motion get the back of your leg. Well, he got Dr. Zubaydah this morning, and she stayed calm, but the other dogs, once, he nipped her, all the other dogs kind of started swirling around, and it got a little scary. So I was able to get out there with the staff and get her safely inside of the shelter walls, but she's now got a radio so that she can radio us as soon as her taxi pulls up. I've also still, like, been on my to-do list for over a year to get some signage made for up front in 3 or 4 languages that lets people know to stay in their vehicles and just, honk their horn until one of us comes outside. Because even though our dogs are super friendly outside, it's a risk we don't want to take. So we like people to stay in their vehicles when they're new until we go outside, just to avoid any potential problems. But yeah, I gotta go out and have a talk with John today. He's gotta be nicer to people. What a jerk. Yep. But yeah, we don't have very many dogs that don't love to see a visitor now. They didn't used to. They used to be quite stressed out when people would pull up to the shelter, but because we've done such a good job protecting them outside, they now know that people that are coming close with the shelter are friends. So, yeah, it's still odd to me when people pull up and they get out of the car, and I'll go out there surprised, that someone's out of their vehicle and all the dogs are wagging their tail and, like getting a pat on the head, and I got such a nice thing. Years ago, all you'd see is just panic outside if someone would get out of their car. Luis Hasty, John has never once done this in front of me. Yeah, no, he's always on his best behavior when you're here, Luis. I had Haval out here a couple months ago, and Haval's been a volunteer and, a friend of the shelter for years and years and years. And he was walking inside with, I think it was Nuri or someone else, and I see John like going up to his calf all slow motion, and, I went behind him, I was like, oh, and if I can see it, or if one of the staff see it, all we have to do is shoot him a look or say his name and he'll stop. And he never breaks the skin, like, and there's no barking, no nothing, he wants a little taste of every new person that comes out here. It's so rude. But yeah, even though I've been out here for years, sometimes he looks at me like he just doesn't really like me very much. And there's no growling, no posturing, no anything. And I go up, and I scruff him up and give him kisses, and I tell him I love him every time I come to the shelter, but he just looks at me sometimes like he hates me, like he tolerates me being here. So rude. Yeah, Rosalie she's passed out peacefully here, but she got a piece of me this morning. Not out of aggression, out of I let her out of her section to let her in the office, and she was so excited. She's scratching me and, jumping all over me, and then I didn't immediately look at her, so she got the back of my arm, a little piece. It's rare that I get out of here without a new bruise. there's just so many dogs, and it's like your personal dogs. You know, you come home from work, everybody's really excited to see you. We do our best to ignore them while they're behaving like that, so that they, you know, until they calm down, and then give them attention once they've stopped, you know, jumping up on us. But sometimes it doesn't work out that way. Erica, he doesn't like that you stop his taste testing. That is exactly what it is, I think. Is that he knows that I see him wanting to take out a bite out of every new butt that shows up out here. So I'm the sheriff, and he's not fond of being stopped. So goofy dog. I'll try and get some video of him. I'll post it on a story. He's got the funniest little, you know, like little goofy grin, and little, like, I think he had old brakes or something to his leg, because he stands with like a funny little thing, and then he's got this perfect black eyeliner around his eyes. He's just, we say shaitan here. Shaitan means like a, you know, like a little devil in Arabic. But that's exactly what he is. Pretty sure if jinn are real, that he's one of them. He just exists out here to cause trouble. Yeah. Oh, what was I saying? Oh, stuff that we need monthly sponsorship for. So I went over our water trucks, our animal food and rice, and then the diesel for the generators. These are 3 big areas where we've been trying to get, you know, big companies or other stuff to commit to locally to commit to monthly funding. Like the diesel, just to keep our generators running, is 1,450,000 Iraqi dinar. I'm looking at my notes on the board, which is around $1,000 a month just for generator diesel. And especially during these hot months, we have to switch the government power circuit off, because it's only single phase out here, and it can't, like, it just clicks on and off, on and off, on and off. Breaks our cameras, breaks our anesthesia machine, our oxygen concentrator thing. So we have to shut it off, which means more fuel usage, and then every 100 hours we've got to have an oil change, and, you know, the filters changed and everything else. Philippa Smallwood, good morning, Oriana. You have suffered terrible devastation with this tornado. Yeah, it's still kind of surprising. Like, I keep pulling in, and I don't know why I expect it to all be rebuilt overnight. Like, because our guys are normally so quick on it. You know, when something busts, they're like, you know, they just swarm on it and get it fixed. And there was just so much damage that, like, they just can't get to it, along with all their other daily duties. And we do not have dedicated maintenance staff. We just have people that we have a team of 4, and those people are responsible for the feeding of 700 dogs a day, making sure that all the waters are topped up and cleaned routinely. We have a schedule for this. They have to let dogs in and out of sections depending on their schedule, because dogs get playtime out, and then not all of them can live together all the time. So the kennel staff are doing all of that. They're also helping with medications, because we have so many dogs on meds that they can't all get their meds given 3 times a day or whatever, just by the clinic staff. So our kennel staff do so much. Like, it's an unbelievable amount of stuff. And then they are doing all of our maintenance stuff, which is, like, the shelter is a living, breathing thing. It is constantly changing. You know, the dogs will tear stuff up or move things. We have rats out here. We have birds trying to nest and everything. We're up against the weather. So the guys are busy constantly. Like, I'm not sure how they manage. I'm not sure how they keep going with just a few short breaks throughout the day. And in the past, that we used to have them go to their room during the hottest parts of the day, but now we have so much shade and also so many jobs that I find them that they're pretty much going all the time. And then they work 7 days on, and then they're off for 7 days, so that we have 24-hour care here, which is wild. We also have 7-day-a-week coverage for the clinic right now, now that Dr. Teresa's living on site. She covers 4 days a week, and then Dr. Ollie's 4 days, and they have, you know, a little bit of overlap. But that allows us to not have, like, we used to have 2 days a week up until just a few months ago, where it was me in the clinic 2 days a week, that, you know, if any euthanasia came in, I had to deal with it. Any bite wounds, it was me and the staff, managing the meds on the weekends, doing all the ordering, and it was just too much. Like, now that I'm not having to do that, I'm like, how the hell will I go back to that if somebody decides to quit or whatever? Like, I don't know if I can do that again. Philippa, and snakes are a threat every day from what I understand. Yeah, snakes are an issue. I have, knock on everything, I have not encountered any snakes out here myself, except for ones, you know, in the kennels and stuff, but like I haven't seen any vipers outside, and I do a fair bit of walking out there. I try to wear like higher, like you guys have might have seen my shoes. I try to find boots, leather boots that are tall, so that I can avoid getting a bite from a snake or a scorpion that I come across unintentionally. I would never approach a snake and try to touch it, or a scorpion or anything else. Well, actually, any wildlife, I don't try to interact with them. But accidentally stepping on a viper out here would be pretty upsetting. So I try to keep my ankles protected. And they're more of a risk to the dogs, because the dogs just don't have any sense, and they go out sticking their nose in everything. We've had 2 or 3 dogs in the last year and a half that have gotten snake bites to their neck and face, nose. I think all of the snake bite dogs survived. The scorpion ones were not so lucky. We had a couple that survived scorpion stings, but Zaho, he died. But what happened there, my brother was actually working here during that time. Luis, I think I'm the only person daft enough to try and save a snake. Oh no, we might try to save it, but I try not to monkey with them if they're not in need. But yeah, no, Luis has like no fear when it comes to wild things out here. If they seem like they're in trouble, she's on it. Erica, what kind of snakes are out there? So we have, throughout Iraq, there are a ton of vipers. That's one of the most dangerous ones that are out here. They have the characteristic really wide head and kind of fat body, and they blend in so nicely with the environment that you could just be walking along and accidentally step on one. And they stay, you know, they're coiled up so they can actually have a decent strike. Oh, sorry, I had a big gust of wind rip through here. I don't know if you guys can hear that in the background, stuff's falling down. So there are tons and tons of snakes out here, but the ones that I'm most concerned with are vipers. Oh, what was I saying about the scorpions? So some of the dogs that have been stung on the outside of their face, you know, just by nudging scorpions and stuff, or been stung on the legs, they've survived. But we lost our big white, I think it was a 3-legged dog in section, I can't remember if he had 3 legs or 4. We've got so many tripods out here. But this was when my brother was working here as a clinic assistant, and Zaho, we found him in the morning with, like, he had blood coming out of his mouth and his head was swollen up huge. He was this massive white, like, Akbash dog. And we brought him into the clinic and we lifted up his mouth, and my brother saw what looked like a piece of wood in his mouth, and he grabbed it with tweezers, and when he grabbed it, it like injected all of the venom from the tail into Zaho's face. And of course we just didn't know, like, who thought there was going to be a scorpion tail broken off in his mouth. I suspected he bit it, like that he tried to eat it. But we were doing all we could for the venom, and then in the middle of the night, the swelling just got so bad that he asphyxiated. So scorpions are a concern out here, and there's absolutely nothing we can do to prevent them from coming in the shelter. And we also can't train the dogs to, like, not, you know, they like to go up and nudge or touch things, which is really dangerous. I worry about with my own dogs too, because they'll see a cockroach or something and they go over and, like, you know, touch it with their nose. And I know they would do the exact same thing with a scorpion. But some of the snakes we have out here are relatively harmless, like they're like rat snakes. I know they have a scientific name. I don't know what it is. They're quite big, and they do have a small amount of venom, enough to make you feel pretty shit after a bite, and to be extremely painful, but not enough to kill you. And I see those ones every once in a while, like they'll be curled up behind a water bowl or something inside. Really not a nice surprise. The last time we had that happen, you guys sent us out. We've got a little grabber thing, like a stick, you know, to grab the snakes with now. And that was sent in special after my last encounter with a snake inside. Yep. Yeah, so today I'm going to go, it's Wednesday, so I'm scheduled to go through with Dr. Ollie. We're going to go through all of the quarantine kennels and just discuss which dogs are in, which dogs have been in for too long. We have some TVT dogs that he's going to be consulting with an oncologist in the UK today, because they've been on chemotherapy for 9 weeks and their tumors are still not gone, which 6 weeks of of chemo usually does it for TVT. So we think we might have to switch chemo medications. Yeah, and we're just going to discuss kind of moving them around kennels because they're getting a little bit depressed being in the same quarantine kennel for that long. And we can't let them out to interact with the other dogs because they're still contagious. They're sloughing off these cells that if another dog were to lick them or, interact with them, they could get that TBT. So I've got guys coming in to do welding. Before the storm hit, I was in the process of getting some new cages and stuff welded up throughout the shelter for feeding. But I'm also trying to build out a few new sections so that our TBT dogs can have a much bigger, quarantine space, treatment space. So the idea is that quarantine 1 through 4 will be for dogs staying in the shelter under 72 hours, whereas quarantine 5 through 10 will be for dogs staying under 2 weeks or up to 2 weeks. And then in section 2, we're going to extend our airlock and our medical cages. And those ones will be, like, the dogs will be able to interact a little bit through the BRC, but they won't be able to, touch each other so much. And those ones will be for dogs that need treatment above 2 weeks, but under, like a few months. Because anything, like if they're going to be in over a few months, then we just know we have no choice but to integrate them into an inside area. Because it's just, you can't put them out after they've been in for that long. So yeah, that work is still underway on top of all of the construction work that we now have for the cleanup for the tornado. It still feels weird to say tornado. Oh, sorry, 1 second. They're carrying a dog through the airlock. So these guys are all gobbing off. It feels weird to say tornado because that is not something I was prepared for in Iraq, and not something that is widely known, and not something that they've had a history of problems with. But with climate change, the weather gets more severe every year. So now we know that May and June are going to be tornado season out at the shelter. And if I was a very, very rich person, or if I just had millions of dollars, I'd pick up this whole shelter and I would move it somewhere different. I would either move it out of country, or I would, at a minimum, I'd put it up in a mountainous area that has less issues. Because fires are an issue down here, sandstorms. We're fairly close to the airport, which is also, it doubles as like a military base. So we don't love being that close to that for many reasons. We're also right next door to a gas company, so if they have any issues, we have issues as far as safety stuff goes. Yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything you want me to talk about, please let me know. I'm going to be going, when I get off the live here, hopefully Dr. Ollie will be ready. I've got someone coming in for an interview in 40 minutes, so I'm going to try and do that interview kind of as a walking interview while we're checking the quarantine kennels. 1 second, they've got another dog coming through. Aswad is going back to their kennel after their TBT. Today is chemo for several of the cancer dogs. We try to keep it all in one day to where we're staying organized. Hi Sama, thanks for joining us. But so yeah, Dr. Ollie and I will do the checks on all of the dogs and just go over who can be released, who still needs to stay in, and even though I am not a doctor, I do need to be aware of what's happening pretty much at all times here, so that I know what we need budget-wise and what kind of support our staff and doctors need, what kind of equipment we might need. Philippa, how are you, Oriana? You had a lot to cope with. I'm okay, but I'm not great, if we're being honest. I talked about it a little bit on here earlier. I'm just feeling really, really tired. I feel like it's all kind of catching up with me a little bit. All of the stress and all of it's just, I'm very tired. So I'm hoping that, I know I can't fix all of this with a weekend of rest, but I'm hoping that I'm here tomorrow and then I've got 2 days off. And I'm hoping I can just, I never sleep in because, I'm a middle-aged woman and anxiety tends to roust us out of bed at 6 a.m. But also my dogs like me to get up and be on schedule for their feeding. Um, but at least I'll lounge around the house, hopefully, and I don't know, eat some fruit and watch some TV or something, hang out with my dogs. What else am I doing today? I've got receipts. Let me pull those down. Even if I did these every single day, I've always got receipts that need to be entered into our database and then, put aside for filing. And Tuesdays and Wednesdays are T's days off. He's our operations manager and he helps with all of this stuff, but when he's off, it's me. And we try to stagger everyone's rest time to where there's always, one adult present and available for anything crazy that pops up. I've also got to get some stuff for social media because Facebook's is wanting like 120 stories a week for us to keep up our engagement, which means that I spend a substantial amount of my time combing through everyone's photos and videos and putting stuff on Facebook. We've also got to have like 14 posts a week to keep the algorithm happy. Somebody mentioned, I think it was yesterday on one of our comments, they're like, with 33,000 followers, like it shouldn't be that hard for us if everybody is watching and contributing. So not everyone is able to contribute financially, which is fine. Like I personally can't donate, like I don't have enough money. But Facebook only shows our post to about 1.1 thousand people that are following us, which I can't understand because once I click to follow something, I want to see what's posted on that page, and if I don't want to follow it, I will unfollow it. So I'm not sure why Facebook is doing that, and there's no one to ask. It's all AI. So yeah, we try to monitor the insights and do what it asks us to do to keep up engagement, but it's becoming increasingly more difficult to keep up with social media. So I'll do that today. I spent the morning updating our Amazon wish list, just removing stuff off of there that had already been purchased, and I don't think I added anything new today. We've got hydration tablets on there, which we always need for our staff to keep us from getting, dehydrated, because water is just not enough. I've got some like stainless steel, the crate bowls, the kind that attach to the cat crates and stuff on there, because our two resident monsters, Marmalade and Noir, will not leave their water bowl alone. So no matter how many times we fill it in a day, it's always tipped over. So it's the same thing with our food bowls. So I'm hoping when those ones that get donated arrive, I can clip them onto their cage and the other cat cages as well, to where we don't have to worry about cats just like flipping their food and water bowls the instant that we put them in there and clean them. What else do I have on there? I think we have maybe some cleaning supplies, or maybe not. I know we have syringes. Luis, if we have someone out there who is able to help me put together a short advert we can put out for our lottery, please can they inbox us. So Luis is asking for help. If anyone out there is able to help us put together a short advert for our lottery, please reach out to either Luis by private message or Warpaws on Messenger. We would really appreciate the help. Also, anyone that wants to reach out to media companies, please do so. You don't even have to ask us for permission. Just share our story with them and beg them to feature us. If you got any rich friends, reach out to them too. We're in need. What was I saying? Oh, about the wish list. Syringes. We're constantly out of syringes. So if you want to buy some of those, they're on the wish list. Clipper blades, dog toys, dog treats. I don't think we have anything on there that's majorly like urgent at the moment. And of course I list on there how many we're looking to get, and then the urgency on there. I think you can filter by that. So if you want to have a look at our wish list, please do. And I do try to update it at least 2-3 times a week. And that's usually me. Sometimes Louise will add stuff on there, but it's usually like I've kind of taken that off of her plate recently, because Louise does a lot of behind the scenes work, and I feel like people don't know how much she is actually doing. Like there's not a single item that comes to this shelter from the UK that does not pass through her hands, that she does not physically ship, that she does not pack up, put on a detailed inventory, put in her vehicle and take to the shop host, and then she monitors, the shipping here. And she follows up to make sure that every one of your donations makes it to us. Louise, we are desperate for high 50 electrolytes. Yeah, please, send in some electrolytes for the staff if you can. Well, I've also got some sun hats on there. Most of the staff have one already, but I could use some backups for when they get damaged. And also the kind that I put on the list have like a cover on the neck and then a cover on the face. You might see some of our guys have like the tube, you know, the scarves. I bought those at Langa myself and brought them in, and they've got, you know, holes cut out for the eyes and their mouth, because it's just they're trying to keep from getting sunburned. And sunblock's nice, but it doesn't do everything out here. And we are, like, it doesn't even matter if their skin's dark, they're getting roasted out here. So yeah. What else? We've got files in here that need to be updated that I can't be bothered to get on. I was saying about Luis's efforts. So I do try to take some of those tasks. If it's stuff that I can do here from the UK, I try to take it off of her list. Luis, I am pissed about the cost of high 5 electrolytes. I'm sure the last year they were half the current price. They do seem to be expensive. So I think it's for 20 tablets is like £5 or £4.79, which is obviously quite pricey. But that's 20, you know, electrolyte drinks in a tube. So cost-wise, it's still so much cheaper than us trying to like ship in a regular sports drink. Not to mention that, you know, 20 of them takes up just a tiny little bit of space to ship it. I need another one of those myself because I don't usually put them in my like sealed water bottle because I don't want to have to like have a lingering smell in there. So I'll usually use a coffee cup or something to have my electrolyte things. If you guys have any reusable water bottles you want to send in, I buy these secondhand when I find them, but the staff could use some as well. These are like the, you know, the insulated water bottles, just to keep our water from getting blazing hot. So if you have any of these sitting around at home that you're not using, send them in if they're clean. Our staff would be more than grateful. Or just, you know, like the plastic, the squeezy, you know, the sport water bottles. Our guys could reuse those too. We do our best to not have single-use items out here for them. Much to their upset, I did away with the single-use water bottles like a couple of years ago because I kept finding the trash blown everywhere. And we went to the big 17-liter water bottles in the cooler, so they have to refill their own water bottles. But so yeah, if you guys want to send in some reusable water bottles for the staff, I know that they'd be super grateful. If you've got any laying around in your cupboard that are unused. I personally, whenever I buy a new one secondhand, I bring my old ones in. And they're not new, but, you know, one that I like. This one's awesome. It's got, I think it's called Lock and Lock. It's like a Korean brand one. I bought it at a used bazaar in Iraq, and it's really nice. So it comes apart for cleaning, but it's got the like smaller, you know, mouth for drinking, and it's plastic, so I don't whack my teeth with metal. But yeah, I keep an eye out for these whenever I'm at secondhand stores because they're much cheaper. At like, I think I paid $3.50 for this one. I feel like I'm doing a lot of rambling today, guys. Please, if you've got questions or concerns, let me know. Or comments, questions, anything. Yeah, I might give it another 5 minutes, and then I'm going to go touch base with Dr. Ollie so we can get through our checks. It's so damn hot out there, even in the shade. I'm really not looking forward to doing any outdoor work. And I've got to go do my walkthrough of the shelter. I might wait until during my interview with the guy I've got coming in to do our walkthrough. But each day that I'm here, I do a full walkthrough of the shelter myself because I need to see with my own eyes, you know, that the dogs are okay. And not that I don't trust the staff, but like things get missed, you know. So I might pick up on a safety issue or a latch that's broken or a dog that has chewed its water bowl and doesn't have adequate water. So, and then when T, our operations manager, is here, he does walkthroughs on his day. The vets do a daily walkthrough, but it really does take all of us working as a unit to keep these dogs safe because there's so much stuff that can get missed. You know, a dog, I might think it's sleeping when I walk through, and then somebody else may walk through and realize that, oh no, that dog's a little bit lethargic, or that's not how it normally reacts when I'm in here. So it really does take all of us working in unison at all times. And one of us can't be off of our game for a single day, or dogs, you know, pay the price. We have small mistakes that end up being catastrophic, you know, for the dogs. So small mistakes, big consequences out here. So we need to be We need to be on it all the time, which is why we don't have people out here working 6-day weeks, which is really common in Iraq. The 6-day work week is like, it's commonplace, but we don't engage in that here. We either do shifts or we do 5-day work weeks, because we can't afford to have people exhausted and make mistakes. A mistake could get them hurt, it could get the dogs hurt, it could damage, the shelter's reputation. Like, there's all sorts of stuff. So it's not because we're lazy or because we're not willing to work more. It's because we just got to make sure that we're bringing our A game every day, that we're out here. What else? Yeah, going through making notes for my handover to T tomorrow, because before my weekend I sit down with him, and when I'm not physically at the shelter, T's the boss, and Luis, of course, is always on 24/7, to back me up and back us up from the UK. But on site, T's in charge when I'm not here, and so I've got to make sure that he knows everything that I know on a Thursday before I leave for my weekend. And that goes for him too. So on a Tuesday, he gives me a full handover before he leaves for his weekend, to where we're just always in lockstep. And then, of course, I talk to Louise 7 days a week to make sure that anything that's in my brain is also in her brain, just in case something happens, that there's redundancies. Because us forgetting or failing to pass information along could get a dog killed, or could mean that, one of the staff gets hurt or something else, and we can't have that. But yeah, so to reiterate, we are still doing storm cleanup while actively having windstorms. Our fundraiser match fund was a success, so we did get that match fund. That was a boon for us, because we had like 2 or 3 grants this year that we were not eligible for, that we used to get. So that money kind of helped to shore that up. We weren't really sure how we were going to make ends meet there for a minute. And then we raised enough money to get the metal and stuff for rebuilding the shades, so hopefully we can start construction on that in the next 3-4 days, and hopefully in the next 10-15 days the dogs will be back to having their shaded pools. Fingers crossed. That's also dependent on how quickly we can get the labor together. What else? Yeah, don't forget to vote on My Giving Circle. Throw a donation on there if you want. It buys us votes. But your vote is free and it's quick. Join the UK lottery thing, the War Paws lottery. It's linked somewhere in the comments. If you're in the UK and you'd like to support us long term, it's £10 a month, and you're entered into like a lotto thing. It's a gambling thing. It's not through us. It's through the lotto. But we got signed up as a beneficiary, so it does support us. Part of that money goes to us monthly, and it's a steady stream of income. You can also do monthly donations on our website at www.warpaws.org, and there's a donate button on there, and then it goes through by country and currency, all the different donate options. In the US, you can use Zelle, which is instant and costs nothing. Like, there's no fees to transfer the money from one account to another. So that's been really nice. And yeah, also your donations, because we're registered as a 501c3 in the US, they're tax deductible. I think in the UK it's the same thing. Like, you either get like a tax deduction or there's gift aid. And I'm not from the UK, so I don't fully understand it. Even though Luis has explained it about 1,000 times to me, it doesn't sink in here. And then for Iraq, where we have a fast pay account, which the number, I'll put it up on the stories again. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but we have a fast pay account that people can send to from their bank accounts. And we're in the process of trying to figure out like collection tins to put in grocery stores and stuff like that. But we've got to have them built, and then we've got to go, ask to put them up, and then we've got to have somebody that goes around to check them frequently. Yeah. Anyway, I am going to let you guys go. Thank you so much for joining me on this impromptu live to listen to me complain and ramble. It's always nice having a bit of time to sit down and visit with you guys and keep you updated on what your money's doing out here and what your support is going towards. Anyway, I'm going to get to it, and I will talk to you guys later. Keep an eye on our stories on Facebook and Instagram. We're posting constant updates on stuff. Yeah, we'll be posting throughout the day. So anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us, and I will talk to you guys later.